We are here today, the last podcast of the day, and the topic of the podcast here is the Innovation Spark, Unleashing Growth Through Strategic Leadership. The COVID pandemic made us all too conscious about our homes. Today, we like our homes more than we like our offices. It's more like sanctuaries. In fact, a number of people today are trading going out or staying at home, or even working from home, that matter. At the heart of this transformation lies Mr. Srikanth Iyer, the CEO and co-founder of HomeLane, India's largest technology-first home decor startup. Mr. Iyer has been a pioneer in his front and is the master of making us feel at home. Mr. Iyer, thank you for taking some time out and being here for the podcast. Really appreciate your time. My first question to you here would be that we hear the word growth too often. It certainly means different to a lot of different people, whether it's business, personally, otherwise as well. What according to you is real growth in real terms, and why should be HomeLane today why HomeLane today is staged for next level of growth?
Sure. So I think growth means different things at different stages of a life stage of a company. When you are younger, you are not too much bothered about being profitable, especially if you're a funded startup. You are more interested in testing whether the customer actually values what you're offering or not. So for example,
it's a value creation, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually.
So more about product market fit. So you are testing initially key customer is actually liking the product or service that I'm providing or not. So you're not bothered whether you're making money initially or not. Then you reach a stage where, customers like your product or service. Now you need to know how many customers will like. So you meet 100 people, is one buying or a 10 buying or a 100 buying? And can you sell without even meeting them? I mean, those are the things that you need to test. How frictionless is the growth process itself? So those are the ones that come in when the phase 2 of the company is there. Later stage of the company, and let's say at a stage at which HomeLane is now, all those points have been passed. Now you have to become profitable as a startup. You have no choice because so then growth takes a little bit of a backseat. It will be joint priority number 1. It won't be priority number 1. The priority will be balanced with profitability.
Sure.
And so that's why I said the growth means different things at different stages of a startup.
So if I have to ask you directly today, the way you're poised as a brand, what stage of growth are you in? How would you define growth in your own terms?
So this year we are looking at doing about $100 million of revenue in the year that's going to come to an end on Monday, like 3 days from now. So we are reasonably good size now in the country. We do only business in India, as you probably are aware. For me, now the way I think of growth is it is necessary for it to be profitable growth. I don't mind growing 5%
slower,
but it needs to be profitable.
And
so
also
that's
sustainable.
And which is more sustainable. Otherwise, you end up paying for growth, and there's only so much you can keep paying for. At some point in time, the tap will run dry. So you will need to plan for it.
Absolutely. Coming to a personal question, what does Mr. Iyer do outdoors when he's not at home? Is there a sport that you particularly
I play tennis every day.
Oh, lovely. Tell us something about your journey in tennis.
So I've always liked racket sports. I have played table tennis for Karnataka when I was a kid.
Wow.
So I played for Karnataka for 4 years. I captained my university when I was in university.
Amazing.
That's why I said I'm Anil Kumble's batchmate, and he used to play for India then cricket, and I used to play for Karnataka. I used to play table tennis.
Still friends with him?
Yes, still I am. Yeah.
Lovely.
So now after that I transitioned out and started playing a little bit of squash, again racket sport. But after I turned 40, my knees kind of gave way, and then God's way of saying play something a little lighter. So then I picked up tennis about 5-7 years ago, and I've been playing tennis. I pretty much play every day, including Sundays. I don't miss it at all. So that's that, and I play in the morning. So I think it's good to get the exercise out of the way in the morning, and then it gives you a lot more energy during the day.
You've been a very successful entrepreneur. You've been a sports person. How you think these two are correlated to each other in terms of defining an overall growth, whether it's business, whether it's personal, and the way you look at life in terms of a different perspective altogether?
I think sport has taught me a lot more than just to keep fit. I think there's a lot of correlation that you can get, especially by playing a sport, mostly a team sport, versus and running business or generally in life, right? Whether it's, when you're playing doubles with your partner, to be dependent on your partner when your partner's better at, let's say, volleying, then you take a step back and let them take the limelight and let them. So you partner well, you know when to play aggressively and when not to play aggressively. Never to give up, never giving up. Teamwork.
That's so important for
very,
startups
very important for startups. Very important for startups. So there's a lot of correlation. Just to give you this one, I told you I played table tennis, right? Table tennis is the second fastest sport in the world after ice hockey. So it taught me so much about reflexes. Especially when things are not going well, you need to respond quickly.
Yes.
So that, and during COVID, it helped me a lot. I keep saying I'm a far better wartime general than a peacetime general, because I tend to really think ahead and act very quickly when it is wartime rather than when it is peacetime. When it's peacetime, I get kind of bored, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we all entrepreneurs look at it in a similar way. But there's some picking up from there, I'll realize, there was a quote from Mr. Ratan Tata. In some of his interviews, he said that if I see I want to do something, I'll jump into it. I'll jump to the pool without thinking whether I'm going to get drowned or not. I know I won't get drowned. I'll know my way to swim out. He always said that leaders need to act first, and then you have to find your way to stick to your decision. How you think you align to that thought? I mean,
no, I definitely agree. I think we are entrepreneurs because we have at least the ability to take more risk than the normal person who prefers to do a job and gets a salary at the end of the month. I am definitely not a guy who's satisfied with that. I believe that life is about taking more risk and more reward. And whether it's jumping at the deep end of the pool, or whether, even though I don't know swimming, and by the way, I don't know swimming, but I would do it. So I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Super. So in your regular, way of life, I'm sure you would be faced with a lot of questions from different stakeholders. Could you give us an insight on a lesser known fact that's a very critical attribute of a leader, a successful leader? And how did you trip on that insight or a bulb moment in your career?
So I think karma has a lot of role to play in more ways than we think it does. And I'll give you one example. When I was raising Series B for my company, HomeLane, way back in 2016, I wanted to raise around $50 million. I met 147 VCs and I got 147 no's. Okay, it was the most humbling period of my life. Anyway, long story short, in that interim period when I met it was over 1.5 years. My existing investors gave me a 6 million bridge round during that time. I managed to, end of the day, 148 investors said yes, and I raised 2 million from him. So I managed to raise totally 8 million in my Series B. And in that, what happened was, again, without taking names, the investor who came in wanted to get a lower price than my existing investor, saying, "Aapko lena hai to aap lo, nahi to theek hai." But I had already taken a price round with my existing investors, which was higher. And that price round, let's assume, was for X million. And he was asking for X million minus 30%. What would anybody do? They would have converted the 6 million at X money from my investors at X million and taken the new money at X minus 30%. But I didn't do that. I said, if my investors who stood by me for the last 1.5 years are not getting as good a deal, then I'm doing something wrong.
True.
I could not live with that decision. So I converted all of them at the lower price. So I got diluted lots more.
But you still built that with you, the credibility that you built.
So I did that. That's scene one.
Yeah.
Now scene two, 2021, COVID hit. Right? I was actually raising a 50 million round. I wanted my existing investors to come in and at a very critical stage and write a check. I asked them, I said, I'm giving you 4 hours. I'm giving you time for you to come back with a yes for writing a small check. I know last you invested was 5 years ago and normally you don't do a follow-on. Yeah. But all of them actually came back and invested. So because I had done good deed or the right thing, I can't even call it a good deed, the right thing, it's 5-6 years ago.
The decision that you made at that point in
time.
Yeah.
So
paid off.
It does help you, and as you build a reputation as a startup entrepreneur or even generally as a leader.
What is the key takeaway for entrepreneurs today? We also know that today not every startup has been successful. Of course, there are many reasons for that. But is there a very significant takeaway today from this session, particularly addressing those startups who have been facing impediments around in terms of, it could be equipping themselves with various resources, funding, etc. to level up? What is their takeaway today?
So to me, I would say to anybody who is either an entrepreneur who is not having an easy time, 1 or 2 things. 1, success is about refusing to fail, according to me. I can't tell you how many near-death situations of my business that have happened in the last 31 years.
I'm sure.
Many times. But I've refused to give up. So many times success is about refusing to fail. So just hold on, okay, and ride it out. Ride it out. Yes. A startup is like a seesaw ride. If you go down, you will come up.
True.
So you just need to wait it out. So that's really the one takeaway that I would.
Great, lovely. Yeah. Any significant feedback for Synods of Brand Talk? Did you like the property? It's the first series, and how would you advise us to better this each time?
No, I think it's very good. Actually, maybe what I would do if I were you, I would have a real maybe one theme which I would tie up the whole session with and go with the theme across the. It can be just, I don't know, maybe.
We did that a step ahead, and that's where we plugged in different sectors and industries.
Nice.
Do you think that these kind of forums where we are bringing in family offices, investors, and successful leaders like yourself, it's going to help the ecosystem together?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, super. Thank you, Mr. Iyer, for this session. We really again appreciate.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, I had a good time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
a gin distilled with 6 unique Japanese botanicals harvested at their peak. Distilled to embody the blessings of nature. Roku Gin, alive with the best of every season.